This tutorial video is all about communication using Synergy for parents as well as colleagues. And in our time of distance learning, communication is even more important because oftentimes the message the students are providing to their parents is not the same message that we see or that we are wanting to convey. So, we're going to talk about the different ways that you can and hopefully are logging contact in Synergy. This is through a test class for student confidentiality. So I'm using my test class that only has one student in it, but the same would apply regardless of the size of your class. So when I've got my students in here and I go to look at my student the student page, across the student page I've got, if I had phone numbers. Now again, this is a test student, so but phone numbers would be listed here. I could reach out and contact the parent. Where this is important is I can go in and log that contact. I can also, before I call the parent, I can go over to this far right tab and see the contact log of the contact that has already been posted for this student. And so I posted some messages this morning about talking with the student. And so we're going to talk about those right now as to kind of how those would look in there. But this is where you can see the date, the time, person contacted, how they're contacted, and outcome of that. So back to the student page. I've got my student information here, and I'm going to make a contact with the student. And this student is, I've got the phone number here, so I'm going to call the student, and I left a message for them. So if I wanted to log that contact now, I simply click once on the student profile in my attendance or my seating chart, and I can go down here to log student contact, put in who is, by default, it'll come up with today's date and time. And I can put in who is it that I contacted. I like to use the first names of the people that I contacted so that we know rather than mom or dad, because then there's no question of, did you contact Christina? Did you contact stepmom? Or who is it that you reached out to? So we're going to say this person's name was Test. And then down here, we can talk about all the things that we've got. If the phone is perhaps disconnected, busy, or anything like that, we can give that information out. Or put that I left a message. It's real important that you understand that any comments or anything that you put into the student contact log are public and the parents can see this. So we want to make sure that we're not providing our opinions or anything that's not appropriate or professional, and maintain professionalism at all times. So I'm going to put left message to contact regarding, let me spell this right. Message to contact regarding work. And so I can log this contact. Once I've logged this contact, it's in the student contact log. So anybody that has access to this student would be able to go back in and see that contact log by going to the contact log. And so you can see right here, April 14th, 10:39 a.m. This is who I contacted by Burke, left a message, and we can say what was the message that was given there, or what was given to that parent. You notice in there was also some information about grades, and there's some really cool things that we can do through the parent contact and communication. I use all of my student contact I do now through Synergy, and the reason for that is Synergy will automatically log that email as part of a contact log through the parents. Now, here's the deal with that is there is a little bit of a delay on that contact log. You see that I tried to do this video first thing in the morning about 9, and it took about 45 minutes to an hour for the Synergy system to link an email to the contact log for the student. So emails do not immediately show up in the contact log, but they will show up in the contact log. Okay, and so under my home page, I can go in and drop down to communication. And under this communication tab, when I get into communication tab, I can choose what is it that I want to do for my email message. Now, personal preference, I blind copy myself on the emails that I send. So that will send a copy to my Google Mail as well. And I can search or sort through my Gmail if I want to do that. So I always blind copy myself. You don't have to. But that's just something that I like to do. Now, what you can do here is from any class, I can email whatever students or whatever I want to do regarding communication. And so I can choose who is it that I want to email. So the first thing that I've got is the classes for messaging. Now, for the purposes of today's instruction or tutorial, I'm just doing my test course. but I could send a mass email to all of my courses. I could select all the different courses if I wanted to and see who is it that I would be sending to. Now I have options. If I send it to parents, this is going to send just to the parents of this specific class. So any parent email listed in there. Now, if a parent is saying, I'm not getting an email, it could be that their email address is listed incorrectly or it's an invalid email address. And this is a real good way to also see what emails are valid, because you'll get back reports of it was undeliverable to this, or we didn't get this, or perhaps you get something from somebody saying, hey, this is, I changed my email, no longer have that, or something like that. So it's a good way to stay on top of it. You can choose, if I click on students, this will send it just to the student emails. So if I wanted to send a report to students as to where they're at, I can send it just to the students. And so this would go just to the student emails. I can also send it to both parents and students. So I want to send it to the students' Gmail as well as the parents' emails. Or if I wanted to send, maybe I want to send in my class, but I'm only sending this to students that maybe didn't get last week's work turned in, or missed an assignment, or missed something. What I can do is choose specific students and or parents. What this will do is this brings up, and you can select if you want to select all of them. Now, obviously, if I had more students in this test class, I'd have more here, but I could just pick and choose and say, okay, Sammy didn't do his assignment, Martha didn't do her assignment, Tom didn't do his assignment. I could pick and choose, and I could just select, okay, I'm going to send it to student test and parent test. And so that would send those emails to student and parent test. When I get done, I've picked who I want. It'll show up down here as to who I'm sending it to. I can also CC staff members. Maybe it's something you needed to include administration on, or you needed to another teacher or their advisory teacher, homeroom teacher, perhaps a SPED teacher, because this is a concern with work performance, and you want their case manager to be involved. Type in the subject of your email, just like you're filling out an email, the subject and the message. So I'm going to put in here missing work, and I'm going to put in here, and this is going to be short, but obviously I would add more to this email, make it nice, because this is a solid email. Your child is not completing assignments in class. Now, I could put in my phone number, email address, how to get back with me, however it is that I wanted to do this. We got lots of options for there. I might even want to attach a file. And just like you would attach a file to your regular Gmail, you could attach files in here, a copy of a PDF for the assignment, or additional instructions, or anything else that you might want to do. When you get done with this, so you've got everything, what I can do is go up here, and I have two options. If I hit the send button, it will keep me in my communication tab, so I can send another email. Maybe I want to send one just to the kids that are missing work. Then I'm going to send one to all of my straight A's. Then I'm going to send one to our incomplete assignments, however you want to set it up. So if I do send, I stay in communication. Send and return will send the email, take me out of communication and back to my homepage for Synergy. So I'm back there. Now, if I go back in and I want to look, this is where we don't want to get alarmed. I go back to the student, and I'm going to look at the student contact log. And if I go back to the contact log, you see, okay, I just sent an email, and that email is not there. The email goes out right away, so the email will go immediately to the parents. But what I'm finding is there's a delay. This email I sent out at about 9:11, and so it came in about 45 minutes later. So there is a delay for emails to get recorded on the student contact log, but they will show up there. So, and I've tested that a couple of my other classes as well. So don't go back in and look at the contact log right away and say, okay, I sent an email, but it's not there. It will show up. Now I'm going to show you how we can do. So this is a really good one, where I can actually send a progress report for the student. And so this will say, what is the student doing? What have they got? Where are they at with this? And so we're going to talk about that next, as to kind of how we want to get this information. So we're going to go into my gradebook now. And this is, again, for test student for my gradebook. So a couple of things that we've got for our gradebook for our students is when you've got this and you're putting your assignments in, hopefully we're making sure that our assignments are have lots of detail, because a lot of times this is where parents go to look to see what is it that their kid is missing. So this one here is what I would say is not a good criteria for setting up an assignment. So this is assignment 1, and students will complete the assignment. what you want to do is put yourself in the position of a parent. Of if I was a parent and I read this description of this assignment, am I going to know what this student was supposed to do? And so for assignment one, they're just supposed to complete assignment one. As a parent, I have no idea what assignment one was or where it was supposed to be. I can see the date of the assignment. I can see the due date of the assignment. I can see everything that I've got on here. All right. So then what I can do is I'm going to go back. I'm going to exit out of this. I'm going to show you another assignment that we put in here for this assignment. So I made another assignment. And so we're going to go look at this one here. So this assignment, we're also calling it assignment one. Oh, I did a copy that one. Let's do this assignment here. So here it is. So this assignment we're going to look at. And so what we did for this assignment is this is called math, pages 211 to 212. And in the description, students will complete odd problems 1 to 35 found in math textbooks, page 211 to 212. That right there, as a parent, I know exactly what my student is supposed to be doing. So this is going to be something that is going to be very beneficial as a parent to see or get for our assignments. And so we can look at what have we got there. And so that'll show us all of the things that we can do with our assignment. A couple other real important criteria for you, and we're going to go back in here. We're going to look at this. So you can see that I've got my student scores here, and so I'm looking at this. And if I go in to enter my scores, a real important thing, if my assignment is missing, I want to make sure that I have the missing comment on here. And what that's going to do for us is you can generate a report for any student that has missing assignments. So if I have just a blank, or I don't have a score in here, or I've got the 0 in here, but I don't have the missing assignment comment, this assignment will not show up on any reports as a missing assignment. So you definitely want to make sure that you have the missing assignment comment on there to help when you're generating certain reports for parents or things of that nature. And so you can see that this is where it was a missing compartment. The other thing that's important with this is when a student does turn an assignment in, if you're using those missing, like this one, I've got a score of 13 out of 15. But when I go in here, I want to show you guys something. If I go to look at and enter the scores, I put the score in for the student, but I forgot to take out the missing comment. So this student, if I was to generate a missing assignment report for the parents, or a parent was to go in and look at missing assignments, it would still show that math pages 211 to 212 is missing because I have the comment is missing. So what you want to do is make sure that you go back in and change that to say either, okay, they turned the assignment in late, or I take that off and I've now got the assignment and the assignment is there. I always like to make sure that I keep it so that it goes from missing to late, so that I can keep track of and talk to parents about, your student's getting their work done, but everything is coming in late, they're behind, and that could give you some indicators as to how they're doing performance-wise on assessments or things of that nature. And so I'm going to change that to show that it's late so that it won't show up into a missing assignment report. That we're going to get now into the one that I was going to share with you guys about how the student got their progress report, or how we sent that email out. What you're going to do for that, and you can do these at any time, is I'm going to go to report under the report card tab. I'm going to go to progress reports. And here's where this assignment was going through for the progress reports. So what we can do here is I can set up my progress report, and I can choose by student or by section. So I can do for the entire class or by the student. How do I want to do this? And I can set up what are the things that I would like to show for my progress report. I want to show their overall grade? Do I want to show, where everything? You can pick and choose all of the things that you would like to do. And what you're going to do when you get done here is you have to generate this report or refresh the report. So when your report is run, when you run this report, this will tell you that I ran this report this morning at 9:15 a.m. Say I added in some new assignments. This report does not automatically repopulate or regenerate itself. So what we would need to do is make sure that we go in and regenerate or refresh this report so that we're getting the most current report. So if I added a new assignment or put something in here, what I would do is hit refresh this report, and this would then refresh and get this report all set up so that we've got it. So now that I've got this report generated, what you're going to want to do is go to this where it says delivery, and delivery, print, or email. Now, if I haven't generated the report, first I could generate it, then refresh it. So I'm going to go to print email. So now when I go to my print email, this is where I can choose what are the things that I would like to do with this progress report. I can either print it, I can email it, I can put a header on it, a footer on it. My email, do I want to include the parents on this? Do I want to include the students on this? And I can even include a copy to email. So maybe I wanted to put all of this information on here, and this is where this gets very helpful, especially with our distance learning. Perhaps we have paraprofessionals that are working with and supporting some of our students. If I include this copy to on here, in this box, I could put in the email address of the paraprofessionals that are supporting this student, and I can put in and say, okay, I'm going to send this email to, I'm also going to send this email to the teacher that, Robin Hunley, or whoever it is that I want to do. You put their email into there, and this will give you everything that you've got. So when you have got this all set up, what you would do is you would hit this email button, and you can either hit email here or email here, either one. If I have lots of students selected, you're going to want to do this, email this one, because over here it just emails the individual selected student. Once I've got everybody put in here, if I have a whole bunch of students, if I do my email from this side, I would hit the email button. Are you sure you want to email the check progress reports? I'd hit OK. And then that email will immediately go out to those students so that those students will see all of that information. So we've got everything on there. Now, what I can do with this then is go back and look. Now, again, it does not show up immediately. So this email will show up in about 45 minutes. And that is where that email, if I go back in here, and I've already done this one for this test student, if I go back in here to the contact log for this student, this will show in the contact log of where that student is. And this can be helpful for maybe I'm talking about science, and I can say, hey, by the way, Mr. Egner emailed you, and here's the progress report that you've got, and here's the work that's missing. These are the assignments, right? And so this is what we've got. Now, when I sent this one, it showed that there were 2 missing because I had that one assignment marked incorrectly, even though it had a grade in there, still showed as missing. So that's where that 2 missing is going to come in. And so this is a great way to communicate or send those communications so that it is also going on to that contact log so the parents can see that information as well. If you have any questions about Synergy, contact log, communication, how do we get that information, please feel free to reach out to me. I'm happy to help you guys out. Hopefully this is a helpful video for you.